you need me to bring it up, Judge, just before the court, if you open State 17, I believe that you'll see that it's identified which phone call. I'm happy to open it for the court now if you'd like.
I don't think there's no dispute a phone call was made. The way it's characterized by the state is that there was a phone call made to a Glenn County PD supervisor.
It's identified as a call to Tom Junk, yes, who is a Glenn County it's identified in the State 17. If you want me to.
No, I just want to make sure I understand the objection.
Yes.
So I understand what the objection is. I mean, there's no reporting, there's no conversation.
There is no
reporting. There's a telephone call that is documented.
About who Tom Junk is. And to be clear, Tom Junk is not the sheriff. But no evidence about who Tom Junk is.
I understand.
State 18 is the voicemail left to then District Attorney, and this goes to prong number 4, risk of influencing and obstructing justice from the crime scene.
Jackie, this is Greg. Could you call me as soon as you possibly can? My friend and I have been involved in a shooting, and I need some advice right away. So please call me as soon as you possibly can. Thanks. Bye.
This evidence shows from day 1 there was an attempt by these defendants to influence and obstruct the investigation of this case. As to all the evidence that was presented from defense's witness regarding Greg McMichael's former employment as Glenn County law enforcement, in rebuttal to that, we have the post record State's Exhibit 20, which you've heard about today. And I want to be clear on this, Your Honor. I am not saying, the state is not saying, that the effect of these phone calls and discussions, voicemails to the DA then, that it had the desired effect. That's not the standard that the court must look at. You must look at whether the defendant had the intention of obstructing and influencing the investigation, and that's the purpose of this evidence, is to show that he wanted to influence and obstruct this. So the standard is pose significant risk of intimidating witnesses or obstructing justice, and that's the evidence that we're presenting before the court now. The post records are also instructed to the court in that on the very first page, you can see that from defendant's perspective, reaching out to his former employer had a benefit to him in the past, in that despite saying that she was embarrassed by defendant's inability to keep his post certification, when called upon to intervene for his benefit, in the past that worked for him. And that makes what happened in terms of the phone call and the phone records and the voicemail, it makes those things that much more significant in that State's Exhibit number 20, the letter documented in the post records show that it had the desired effect in the past. Whether it had the desired effect in this case, we'll leave for another day. And there is evidence, if you look at States 20, of that DA intervention that benefited the defendant at some time in the past, which is why from his perspective, making these phone calls and doing the things that he did, including interjecting his law enforcement background, from the state's perspective is an obvious attempt to obstruct and influence the investigation. To continue on with this evidence, Your Honor, State 17 phone records also reveal that after the shooting and before defendant's arrest, he was actively communicating with co-indictee Mr. Bryan. And I know the court will recall that evidence as presented, State 17, from the prior bond hearing involving Mr. Bryan as well. So on multiple successive dates, this defendant was communicating with a co-defendant, which goes to influencing and obstructing. And as documented in State's Exhibit number 4, this defendant actually, Greg McMichael, referred to Mr. Bryan as an ally, which goes to this prong of intimidating witnesses and obstruction of justice. The next topic, unless the court needs me to pause, is to talk about Lindsay and social media. This becomes significant because of some of the cross-examination of Lee McMichael regarding jail calls that are captured regarding Greg McMichael actively attempting to obstruct the investigation of this case. So State's Exhibit number 12, May 16, He's asking Lee McMichael to have Lindsay get rid of evidence in terms of social media.
Good.
You were telling me about Lindsay.
Huh?
You were telling me about Lindsay.
Yeah.
Is she there with you now?
Yeah.
She has got to stop.
She will.
You can get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
Make it disappear. Make it go away. Because you
Yeah.
start accessing it. If not, it's liable to really screw us up.
Well, what stuff are you talking about?
I mean, her
Really?
post on Facebook. And
She's not posting anymore.
Well, it doesn't matter. They'll go back and look at the shit she has posted. Do you remember all the crap we saw on her phone when we had it?
Yeah. Yeah. That's too late, Greg. I already got it there.
But no, they don't. They don't already have all of it. There's people trying to get it all the time, and there's still stuff out there that they haven't gotten. She's got to close out those accounts and get the fuck off of them.
She did close out those accounts.
No, she didn't. She shut them down, but she didn't close them out. She didn't completely eliminate them. She just put them on hold.
No.
All right, well, if that's the case, then that's the case.
This is evidence of this defendant actively, while in custody, trying to obstruct the investigation of this case and influence witnesses by calling Lee McMichael and asking her to have his daughter delete things from social media that were the source of investigation in this particular case. To continue on, Your Honor. States 12-5-16, that's May the 16th. Defendant talks about his own accounts and about deleting them in an attempt to obstruct the investigation of these crimes.
Well, I'm writing down what I can, as best I can remember, what are possibilities as far as
Yeah.
what codes go to get in there. Because
Okay.
I'm gonna have them on this.
Because you're still wide open, huh?
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Nothing
You never
there.
did. You never did close it. You just finished the game. You never did close it down.
That's what Lindsay did with hers too, by the way.
Yeah. Me too, I think.
But I'm trying. I can't remember my access codes or my passwords. I'm trying. I'm writing down everything I can think of. I'm gonna have a list.
Well, Lindsay's going to upgrade her phone, and that was going to win it.
What's that?
Just do this way. We're going to upgrade her phone,
Yeah.
probably. But you can't close down her phone. I think they got everything they need. No. We're going to change her phone number anyway.
Well, I hope they don't have all the shit that we saw on her phone that time.
Well, they do. They have everything on it. Yeah.
Again, Your Honor, staying focused on our four factors as we must during this bond hearing, this evidence decisively shows that defendant Greg McMichael poses an active and significant risk of obstructing justice in that he is working with family members to delete and get rid of evidence of significance after his arrest. States 12, May 17th, defendant refers to having his account killed.
Were y'all able to get my account killed?
He took both phones with him
Good.
because I couldn't get into it. He said, "Don't worry about it. Let me take it off."
This evidence goes directly to prong number 4 of 1716-1 in IELA, posing a significant risk of intimidating witnesses and obstructing justice. In addition to that, Judge, if we were to continue on with States 12, and I'm not going to play multiple more clips, I don't think that's the best use of our time. He talks about a particular witness and tells Lee, when he answers the phone, you tell him flat out not to say anything. That's influencing a witness, and that's recorded in a jail call as well. So in terms of influence...